Okay,
All
welcome to
right,
the
great.
February community call. This background that I put together for these slides yesterday turns out to be very thematic because literally when I hit the start call button, it started snowing heavily outside my window. So yeah, I brought this upon myself. We don't usually get quite this much snow in Vancouver, so it'll be interesting to see how people manage this. Anyhow, February edition of the community call. We'll see how we expect this is probably going to be a bit of a lighter one, first one of the year, but excited to be back. And we have a couple things we're talking about today. So we were at FOSDEM. We'll give you a brief report about how that went, things we learned. Then Alex is going to give an update on some Android work and maybe an update on the Python bindings he's been working on. I'll give an update on subduction, and then we will wrap up. Perfect timing for Nico to show up because we're going to start with talking about FOSDEM. That Nico ran that room at FOSDEM, so it's kind of perfect. So yeah, we were in Brussels a couple weeks ago. If you want to see the video, there's the link. In proper FOSDEM fashion, the AV wouldn't work with the Mac, but it did work with Linux. So we managed to present, which is always great. So it's I think the video is about 25 minutes. Talking about mostly why we made the infrastructure sort of view of how we approach these things. And we also learned about a couple new teams that are using Automerge, which is always nice. One that I'm really excited about trying out is Team Type. They don't know that this is on the slide. I'm just putting it on there. They're using Automerge under the hood to do collaborative text in editors. I'd actually love to get them on one of these in the coming months as well. So with that out of the way, actually, we're going to start with Alex. Do you want to give an update on Android and perhaps Python? I can stop sharing
Sure.
this
Yeah.
temporarily.
I figured I would just show a couple of work in progress things. Let me check if I actually can. All right. Hopefully this will result in you being able to see my screen.
Not yet. Oh, he's completely frozen. Technology. This is what I get for praising Linux 5 minutes ago. I can't joke too hard. I'm about to switch to a framework myself. So. Okay, well, maybe he's back. If he's not back the next 30 seconds, I'll do my section while he figures out the internet. Okay, back to me. Share. Okay, we gave a presentation about subduction end of last year, basically how it works. This is a new sync system for Automerge, does way less work, and also works with end-to-end encryption to support Keyhive. So it now works, or at least a first version. Let's call it an alpha, and it's we've been using it internally a little bit, though not leaning on it too hard. But I've been doing a little bit of load testing on it and building a couple tools. So I have a little command line tool I call darn, which is like darning your socks, sewing things together. where it's meant to almost be like a Git-like tool. This is just a side project of mine, where you can take a directory. There's a darn ignore, like all your usual sort of Git type things. It walks it recursively, ignoring anything in the darn ignore, turns any text documents into Automerge text files, turns any binary files into binary Automerge. So puts everything in Automerge and uploads it, and then you can download it somewhere else. And it does that in parallel, and all these things. I think our current fan out is 256 files at a time max per connection. So for most things, that means we're streaming things very quickly across. And when you look at the memory profile as it's doing this, it just kind of like it barely hops. So parts of the goals of the project were to make this run on to scale up to sort of like hostable, as a service, but then also to scale down to something like, a server with 2 gigs of memory. Right? And so that's dashboard, all of this stuff. And we have 2 nodes running currently. They were federated. Unfortunately, when we added PubSub, we need to add some more stuff to refederate them. But those are not for public use yet. But I actually hope to get to start recruiting beta testers into them in the coming single-digit weeks. So I'd actually like to try some load on these things. So if anybody's interested, send me a message. Obviously, if you're in Europe, Helsinki is probably better for you. If you're in North America, Oregon, probably better. And then, that's right below that. I did 266 sedimentary, so Automerge documents, but it doesn't know what's inside of them, so they're sedimentaries. In 107 milliseconds, that was a sync plus a ACK back from Brussels to Helsinki. Oh, yeah. And because we rearranged things, I will let Alex take over now that his
Right.
laptop's not dying.
My computer's not dying. So it turns out I cannot apparently screen share in a browser from Zoom and also run an Android virtual device. So I'm just going to have to show you the code, and you'll have to kind of, I'll try and get a video of a demo up later. It's not that exciting. It just was nice to see myself, right? Let's try this again. So what I've been working on is, so this I'm going to give a few sort of work in progress updates for a few different things. And the thing I've been working on the last few days that's kind of interesting is making it easier to build Android apps that talk to Automerge repo. So let me just show you what that looks like first. So this is an Android Compose app, which means it's doing all this normal reactive UI stuff here. And it's this stuff is just the UI. It's kind of uninteresting. If I show you the view model, which is this is the sort of normal Android way of structuring an application. It tends to be built on top of this kind of Kotlin flow stuff. So these are kind of a bit like observable variables in other languages. So you have a title one, you have a state flow of tasks, and then the interesting part, which is the repo specific stuff, is this. So repo, where does this come from? So this is now here. There's this whole new sub package of the Java library, which I hope to release this week, like an alpha version of it, or just to get some feedback on, called repo, which exposes a bunch of names that may be familiar from the JavaScript implementation. And the way that this works is you create a repo. This actually loads out of storage, so I probably need to change the naming of this. And then you connect here to the public sync server. And then this view model scope.launch thing is just a way that Android handles running a task that's going to run for as long as this view is running. But you'll see that it waits. Here we go. This connection to on established. This is part of the Java API we've got. So we wait until we've got an established connection. And then this is just logging if we end up disconnecting. And then we go, okay, right, let's go and actually find this document, wait for that. And then this is the part which actually updates the UI. So we have this h.observe. This is part of the Kotlin library that I've been working on that just adds some convenience functions to Automerge repo doc handles. So this adds you give it an initial value and then a function that takes the document and returns something. And then you do the same here for the tasks. And then, I mean, in actual fact, that's less interesting, to be honest. That's just demonstrating that you can do these things. The more interesting stuff is here, where we read the task out of the document every time it changes, and return this stream of tasks. So that's coming from here. So this read task is producing a stream of tasks, and then those are all. This is all like connected up to the UI in kind of ways that are idiomatic for a Kotlin application. And like it's very annoying that I can't show you the demo because this actually syncs in real time with the Automerge repo quick start to-do list application with bidirectional editing, and all just kind of works. This is achieved by wrapping the Samod library in Automerge Java. I'm now using, as well as the core Automerge library, we're also using Samod, which is an Automerge repo implementation in Rust, and then exposing that via FFI into the Java package. So you can, whilst there's some nice Kotlin convenience things here, some of this stuff, this h.observe. Oh, right, yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that the key part here is that this flow.collect part is saying update the title to this value every time the document changes, and this is saying update the tasks value every time these tasks change. So you get this reactive UI thing. But the underlying API is all Java, so you can use it in anything that sits on top of the JVM. And so that's one little thing I've been working on. Another thing I've been working on is this is the current version of the Automerge Python library, and recently added support for repo here as well, which I briefly talked about on the last call. But there's, for the people who didn't see it, you have this, you create a repo and then you have like a with call in order to do stuff inside of it. So here we're running a server here, and on the client we're connecting to that server, waiting till we're actually connected, and then creating a document. And then the new thing is that in order to change a document, you use this kind of context manager syntax. This just looks like a map of lists of maps, etc. Somewhat similar to the change callback in JavaScript. And this is also sat on top of Samod. And one thing that you'll notice with both of these examples is that we have this explicit repo connect call. So here you've got repo connect, and that's like a transport of some kind of bidirectional transport. And here you also have a similar thing. You create this connection, and then you that's the repo connect, and then you wait for stuff to happen. And that's quite different to the JavaScript API, where network adapters actually handle reconnection for you. And I really didn't want to rewrite a reconnection logic handler, like a connection manager in every single one of these. So the last thing I wanted to show, which I've been working on, is reconnection in Samod, which ends up being available to everyone else as well. So this is an example of using Samod, which is the Rust library all of that other stuff is based on. And I'm changing the API here. So where previously you would have like created some kind of bidirectional connection to in this case a WebSocket, say, you can see that this is the the public sync server, and then you would have passed that connection to the repo, and then it's up to you to handle reconnecting when it dies. The API now has this concept of a dialer, which is something that knows how to create connections to something. And then here you say you give this dialer to repo.dial, and you get back this handle, which allows you to wait until the handle is an established connection, because that's frequently a thing you want to do. But it also allows you to watch for other events, like when it's disconnected and reconnected. But SAMOD will handle reconnecting on a back-off schedule. That's what this back-off config is internally. Right now, I'm just cleaning this up, and we'll be pushing it shortly for people to review. But all it really does is handle reconnect. But one of the things I'll add fairly shortly after that is that if we know we have a dialer that has not completely timed out, then when you look for a document, when you call repo.find, that won't return until the dialer has either made a connection or completely timed out, so that you won't have to do, like, a common flow is to create this connection, wait for it to be established, and then try and find the doc handle, where you won't need to do that anymore, because SAMOD will internally handle the logic of making sure that we don't say a document's not available unless we definitely can't reach anyone to talk about it. I think that's everything. That's all the little work in progress things I've got for now. I'm just checking my internal list of other things that are on the stack. I think we haven't actually talked about refs in this community call, so I think that's the thing we should talk about in the next call. We've got a new API for talking about subcomponents of a document, which I think it would be worth, like, I want to write some better documentation for and walk through an example app, but we weren't quite ready for that this time around. So on the next call, I think we'll do that. Yeah, there we go.
Awesome, thanks. Yeah, we have a couple things kind of like refs, and I'm not going to go into too much, but we have a few interesting announcements in the next couple months here that I think will probably get pretty decent use, especially working with some of the folks inside Ink and Switch for things like working on Godot plugins and whatnot. We're getting a lot of like real world, authentic use that's driving a lot of requirements, which is really helpful. All right, I can now put this one up. now that we're through the agenda. So that's the stuff that we had on the main schedule, at least. So super happy to do Q&A, but this is where to find us between calls. And yeah, we'll see everyone in March. Great.
All right.
It was nice seeing you. From Nico. Hello from Nico.
Hey, Nico.
Yeah, thanks, Nico. Pozdem was great. For everyone who wasn't aware, Nico ran the local first dev room at Pozdem, which was intense.
But it broke for you. I'm so sorry about that. Next year we do better. the tech
it was great. Don't worry.
Yeah, AV issues is a rite of passage. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
We've made our sacrifices now.
Yes.
The rest of the year.
Yeah, you come
great.
only with Linux devices next year also. It will help me.
I mean,
guys,
very likely, yeah.
Yeah, very nice work. And I have to watch the video of the last one that I missed about subduction, right? That's what you showed it last time, a month ago.
Yeah.
Is it available, the video? I find it in Discord.
Yeah, it should be on YouTube. It's possible, because that was just before the holidays. It's possible that I forgot to upload it, but I'm going to have to upload this one. So if I missed it, then I'll upload them both, yeah.
Okay, super. Thanks. Great job.
Yeah, and part of the, I think it's worth noting, part of the design intention with subduction is that it should work on any hash graph. Arguably, you could extend that to other kinds of partial orders, but any hash graph should work. Has a very minimal API that it needs. So other projects, hint, might be able to use it.
Yes. I hear you. Thank you.
think I'm
Um,
behind on. Go ahead. Sorry, I
no,
just
no,
had a
far away,
question.
far
I
away.
think I'm behind on Samod, and
Hmm.
like I think um, there was a point where it was experimental on your point of view, and like did not have API compatibility with the JavaScript repo, and like I was just wondering if I could get like a high level of where that is.
Yeah. So I've been treating it as experimental for the last the 6 months that I've been working on it. Well, has it? No, actually, I
Yeah.
think it's only been 3 months. But I think it's at a point now where it's more useful than Automerge repo RS for most people. Partly that's the JS interop side. Partly it's the fact that the design of it internally is more as a layer, like a bunch of state machines and then a Tokio
Mm-hmm.
wrapper around the outside, which
Yep.
means that you can use it, like for example, you can run it on the like glib run event loop if
Yeah.
you want, and that kind of thing. The remaining thing before I want to be like, yeah, this is just everyone should just use this, is like I want to. We're using it internally on a bunch of projects. There's a bunch of other people who are using it, but for example, you were using it at Automerge Repo RS at much higher scale and with more depending on it. And I would want to like do a bit more fuzz testing and a bit more load testing to be like confident that the kind of bugs that you run into at that point are shaken out before
Yeah. Yeah.
saying.
Um, no, I think that's very helpful for like um, my understanding. Like, if I start a personal project today,
Mm-hmm. Build
where
on
would I
Samad.
start? And I think Sound is sounds right.
Yep. Yep. That's right. And
Very
even
cool.
if it's like even if it's like a I think even if someone was building an early stage version of a product, I think
Yeah.
Samad would be a good fit for that. Now it's just that if you've got like a bunch of existing stuff that depends on Automerge Repo RS, then I would
Then
be like,
it would be a migration task,
yeah.
and it needs a plan. But the dialer looks like something that I mean we've talked about it. I think I've shown you
Mm.
mine. I needed.
Yep.
So that's cool. It looks like a good API, and dialer is a metaphor that obviously uh, you've thought a lot about, but didn't occur to me. Uh, and it calling
It's
everything manager.
yeah. Well, it's actually the API is weird. It's split in two. There's a dialer and an acceptor or a listener.
Sure.
Because what I wanted to be able to do is have good metrics for servers. So you can say like for an acceptor, like here's how many people are connected to that accepting
Mm-hmm.
endpoint. Or like often you want to do a thing where you close down an accepting connection and you want to close all of the connections that are
Right.
associated with it
Right.
in one go. But I tried to have like a connector thing for a long time. And yeah, they're actually just totally different concerns.
Yeah. Yes. I agree. Cool. Thank you.
But yeah, have a play with it, break it. That's what I need people to do.
Cool.
So yeah.
I also have a question about the rich text schema.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working on metadata lately, like trying to, the problem I was facing that is that my editor was stripping this markdown front matter, like metadata.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I tried to close any gaps between Prose Mirror and Pandoc and Automerge for this, so had to support it everywhere. And I'll probably look into adding the metadata of the document in the rich text schema. I guess I'll use this double underscore external notation to add it.
I guess you need to have it in the rich text because you don't like my instinct would be to put that kind of metadata in separate keys in the Automerge document. But I'm guessing for you that doesn't work because you need
Yeah.
to feed it back through Pandoc and these other
Exactly.
formats.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
understand that from the Automerge point of view, it does make sense to have it in the not in the rich text field itself. But
Mm.
I mean, what I'm looking for is really to have all the rich text document be convertible to Pandoc, which has the metadata in the document.
Mm.
So yeah, That's a
Yeah,
challenge
in
for sure.
that case, it's kind of confusing because like front matter, like the rich text schema allows you to have things like that you could add the __ext stuff to have different block types for the front matter, but it's kind of weird because you can't actually have more than one front matter in a document. Whereas the rich text schema like never makes assumptions about the number of nodes of any particular block type or anything, because we can't guarantee any of those things
Yeah.
concurrently. Like, I'm not sure if you get that much from using the rich text schema, is what I'm saying. Like, I'm wondering if you would be better off just using. I suppose you could. You just have the block type and then nothing else, and then
Yeah. I
and
mean,
then if you have multiple block types, you just merge them in the application.
yeah, and also Pandoc allows for really block-like payloads into this metadata, like whole trees of objects. So it's I guess it's probably the way to go, even though it's that it has these issues that you mentioned, Alex. And also tables. I'll probably look into adding tables too, but that's also a beast, I guess.
Yeah, tables within the rich text format, I think, would be very difficult. I've not tried to tackle that because we've always just put table-like things in another part of the document. Putting it in the rich text would be a stretch. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll do some experiments there, maybe even with serialized payloads to see how it works. I probably want them to be, to not get stripped of the document in case of merging. Right? That's probably what I need. Even if it doesn't help you in merging, it shouldn't, let's say, remove the table when you merge. That's my first goal, at least.
Yeah. Let me know how you get on. Your feedback on this stuff has been really, really valuable so far. So
Thanks.
appreciate the
And by the
continued
way,
research.
the Automerge Pandoc stuff, I mean, the main thing that's missing right now is probably images to complete the first pass on the rich text schema. So yeah, it's getting close.
How
I think
does Pandoc handle images at the moment? Like it just assumes they're an external file reference.
I don't know. I haven't even worked on the Pandoc side there, but I'm pretty sure it has something like figure. I saw it somewhere in its model. So I think images are supported in both Pandoc and Automerge rich text right now, and I just have to implement them. I mean, there for me, the hard part is in the UI. Like
Yeah, okay,
I
gotcha.
haven't implemented them there. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good luck.
So, thank you.
In the chat, Quentin asked, is the ref feature a link to external docs or internal docs as in a DAG?
So the refs, the stuff I was talking about earlier, which I think on the next community call we should dive into that in detail. But it's basically a way to say it's a JavaScript API. It's a feature in Automerge repo to be able to say, for this document, I don't care about the whole document. I just want to listen to changes to like the address or like some smaller subpart of the document, and the refs can be like projected out, so you can have a ref and you can project from the ref down into a smaller ref. And you can make changes to that little bit as well, and it'll flow back up into the document. So that's the main thing, but the refs can also be serialized. So if you have like a ref to some point in the document, you can serialize that to a string and load it up again somewhere else, so you can keep them in another document. And the main use for that would be to, so for example, be able to have comments stored in a separate document, with the ref being the part of the target document, the commented on document that you're commenting on, so that you can say link them up in the UI, highlight the commented bit range whilst you're showing the comment, that kind of thing.
Right. So I guess that ends up meaning. Oh, is my mic working?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. See, I was expecting it to like yellow line thingy to show up Reddit. Right, perfect. So the idea there is that the URL or like the documents in Automerge by itself without Automerge repo don't really have a clear sense of identity. And then so the references are as you're saying, they're part of Automerge repo specifically. Does that mean that like so the parts are getting URLs too, and that's part of how it gets serialized? I wasn't sure I really followed what you meant by the references themselves are serializable. Like, what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, they serialize as, and there's a number of edge cases here. Like this is an API we're experimenting with, but they serialize as the path into the document.
Okay, gotcha.
With one slight change, which is that if you for elements in a sequence, a list or a character in the text, it uses the op ID of the character or list element, so it's stable across insertions.
Makes sense. One quick thing. So some of these features are things that are sort of upcoming. I keep paying attention to like, I check the website once in a while to like see if there's been a new blog post or something. Do you guys like talk about some of the features you guys are building here in places other than this community call, or is this where it's at? This is what I've been missing.
Right now it's this. I think something we want to do this year is start producing more content. We're a reasonably small team, and so most of our time is taken up with doing the dev work, but
makes sense.
We do want to start communicating a bit more.
Yeah, there is also, especially for things that are like heavily in progress or that we're thinking about, like in a conversation like this, it's very easy to flag that as like, here's something that we've just been sort of like working on. It's not ready for consumption yet, but if we make a blog post, then that comes like the medium is the message then, right? So it's also us trying to figure out what's the right place to message certain things. But yeah, this is a good place, and the Discord as well. We talk pretty openly about stuff we're working on. But yeah, it always comes with an asterisk of like, if it's not released yet, like anything could change. So.
Yep. All right. Nice short one.
Yeah. Always better short and sweet than to have it drag on, right?
You're right. It's like gloomy here, and we're having fish and chips, and I'm extremely hungry. So
amazing. Okay. Enjoy. Does anyone have any final parting thoughts, or should we give you the last 22 minutes back? We all like time. Excellent. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll put this up later. I'll post it in the Discord. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.